This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Well, joining us today live from the Rule Symposium in Florida is Sean Wade, the CEO of Power Metal Resources. Thank you very much for taking the time for us today. Sean, how are you?
Yeah, my pleasure, Mark. Very well indeed. Thanks. Nice to see you.
Yes, you too. So you've been at the conference. I think you flew out at the weekend, so you probably had a couple of days at the moment. What's it like? Give me a sense of the vibe from the conference. And of course, we were together at Mining Journal Select. How does the vibe sort of compare?
Well, firstly, I would say this is very, very well attended. I would say, we're in, 600 or 700 people just, in the ballroom just opposite me. But I know that there are many, many more than that online. So one of the great things about this conference is you see loads of people in person, but you're also talking to a very big online audience. So it's big and it's very busy, very energetic. Very, very happy to be here.
Excellent. Good stuff. And have you had many people come by the stand inquiring as to what's going on, interested? That's the most important thing, interested in the story.
Yeah, very much so. And actually, one of the things, the interview you and I did the other day with Rick Rule actually is very helpful because, he was talking on that about the virtual banking model, and he talked about Dundee Bancorp, where he'd made a lot of money with a similar model to ours. And so, this is something that's very familiar to the US investors and something that it's very easy to get across to them what we're trying to do and what the business model is. So we've had great interest. A lot of people have come up to the stand and had a chat, taken some of our information. We're obviously talking a lot about the valuation disconnect that we see in the shares versus the net asset value estimate. And we're talking about obviously that work that Charles Archer did. So hopefully to illustrate that, estimating the NAV. And again, that's something that Rick cares a lot about. He talked about NAV per share in the interview the other day, and that's something that we're really, really sort of hammering home. I've got my presentation this afternoon where we're going to really focus that message very strongly. But the other thing that we're talking a lot about, apart from obviously the assets and the operations, is the fact that we've now got this US OTC listing, which we didn't have when we were here last year. Right. So we've already had people come up, talk to us, and buy shares on their apps, right there in front of us, kind of thing. So we had some one particular guy, he took the time to do it yesterday. That I'm sure the market will see that print at some point. I'm quite sure exactly how that gets reported, but we are now starting to see some of that volume coming into the OTC, which is obviously fantastic, because if we can break into that US retail investor that we're so keen to, then I think that's going to be very, very good news for shareholders generally.
Well, that's a fantastic thing. So someone actually bought shares on their mobile in front of you while you were talking to them.
Obviously we've got the talk this afternoon, and I'll be talking about OTC, and hopefully we'll see some more. And as I said, there's this very big online audience as well, and so there's a lot of follow up for us. Everybody who comes up, we scan their badge so that we get their contact details, and we follow up with some information about the company, and obviously we'll be able to point those things out to them as well. So it's not just the conference itself and the interactions we have. There's a lot of follow up and a lot of opportunity to really build those relationships. So it's extremely valuable for us. And we've said quite a few times that the US market's very important for us. We think about the assets we have. Obviously, there's that big stake in gold and metal. It's also the Athabasca Basin. So this is, and plus generally we are very focused, as on transition metals, very well understood by US investors. So there's no reason why now we have that listing that we can't really push those relationships strongly in the US.
No, absolutely. That's key, getting that listing then. Of course, Golden, or I should say Guardian Metals, I also have that listing now as well. Of course, Guardian Metals doing very well recently in the London markets for sure. And of course, that makes it quite Power Metals has I think it's 50%, isn't it, of Guardian Metals?
Just below. Look, it's extremely helpful because at the moment, I think Guardian's market cap is around 33 million. And so obviously, we're half of that. That's most of our market cap. So, we talk about, well, you're in for free with all the rest of it. Now, what obviously, as we know, Charles has done is to say, well, what is the rest of it? And what are you getting for your money? And we're able to make that case now very clearly. We talk about the Athabasca project, which we're close to finalizing that deal. Obviously, we talk a lot about FDR. We talk about the African assets. We've got ion battery. There's all the other components. All have a value. All have an opportunity to be realised, crystallised in some way. And it's important, I think, that shareholders can see through the opportunity, see the valuation of the rest of the portfolio, and come up with a number. I think that I would say this, wouldn't I? But somewhere considerably north of the current share price.
Yes, indeed. So, and are you planning on doing more to sort of get the message out to the United States investors, aside from just doing the Rule, which I know the Rule Symposium is very important in that plan?
Yes, no, absolutely. It's a very good question, because one of the things that is also good here is that there are a lot of media providers, people who do similar things to you, where we can do interviews and obviously these are people that have high subscriber base in the US. I mean, people will know that one or two that I already do, and we did an interview yesterday with the Money Level show, but there's going to be more. We've got an interview with the Gold newsletter. We've got an interview with Kitco, which is a big one. We also have one or two that have come up to me during the conference asking if we can give them some content. So there's definitely going to be a lot more outreach via those networks. That's number one. Number two, we're going to be focusing a lot more of our IR effort on the US market when we think about marketing the shares. So I'm sure there will be roadshows and so on in the future, in the near future, to come and really try and sort of cement that opportunity. So we're taking the US market extremely seriously. We think it's a great opportunity to get the shares up and get the message across. And so yes, we're making every effort to do everything we can.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for taking time out to talk to us today, Sean Wade, CEO of Power Metal Resources, and I hope the rest of the show goes well for you.
Brilliant, will do. Thanks a lot, Mark. Good to see you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programmes at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.